bitch and help the fucking ungrateful family. Who this whole entire time, their issue with me was they don't have enough clout and enough importance in the real world. They're only important to my mama, and now that she's not here, nobody deems them important. Nobody gives a fuck about them. So they need to find some type of significance, because in the world, that's what we all search for: clarity, significance, all of those things that Maslow's hierarchy talks about. They don't have it. Now that she's gone, whereas me losing my mom was a hurtful place of, I lost my mom. But my mom didn't give me significance. My mom didn't give me security. She gave them security. They lived off of her for damn near 2 decades. I left the house at 17. I'm homeless because I'm always the one that figures it out, and they hate that. So they purposely got with other people who don't like me to take that from under me. And I saw that post that they was posting, everybody plastering Little Rail all over the place. Little Rail was somebody who hung out with me while I was taping Wildin' Out. Little Rail was somebody that was coming to my hotel. Me and him and Hugh Moore was hanging out. Little Rail was somebody that noticed that both my parents, my mother and my father, tried to compete with me. Because while I was taping Wildin' Out, my mom, who was in the position to support me, who had the money to fly out to New York and be like, damn, my baby is on a television show, a show she really wanted, a show she really was interested in. Let me come support my baby. No, what does my mother do? My mother travels with the church to go perform at Carnegie Hall. Because you in New York having a show, I got to be in New York having a show. That's the type of mama I had. You in New York and you do it. My mama gave up on her dreams out of fear. Out of fear. And, I didn't find out about let me say it this way. I knew it was about fear. My entire life I knew it was about fear. My mom mentioned while she was alive several incidents of sexual assault and molestation. She did tell me about those instances. She never went into full detail. I had to pick up on the unsaid conversation. It wasn't until she died that my gift of transcendence allowed me to have conversations with her that I didn't have when she was here. Because my mom lived in a very shame-based reality. A lot of her life and a lot of her life choices was based around fear and shame. And that's just how she lived her life. That was her choice. Which is actually, praise Jesus, one of the ideas that I came up with on the way over here, the ebook that I'm going to write to young girls. Because I want to save them from living the life my mom lived. But anyway, during our conversation of transcendence, I was able to talk with her. And that's when I found out all the ways that she was sexually abused and, assaulted, trying to trust in her gift and her dreams. Because my mama was thick, like I'm thick. I get my body from my mama. She get it from her mama, baby. I'm shaped like her, everything. People see my everything. Oh, I'm Gloria's daughter. They know that. And she was shaped like that. And, there's just men that can't help themselves when you shaped like that. My mom didn't know how to deal with that. Sex was always something that scared the fuck out of my mother. Because of early experiences of people being predatory, molestation, all that shit. Sex was always something that she never was open up to. So my dad was a motherfucking whore. He was a whore. Why? Because my mother was not sexually... I remember we used to watch movies as kids. People would kiss in movies. My mom would be like, cover your eyes. We were like, bitch, a kiss? What? Cover your eyes. I could never talk to my mom about sex for real. Sucking dick, are you kidding me? Sucking dick was something that was like, oh my God, people putting their lips on each other's parts. And she called it each other's parts. My mama ain't even curse. So me using profanity was always, no. She would act like she's dying. No. Like that's how she act. No. Profanity did that to her. Sex, talking about sex, did that. It's like it was traumatizing to her. People licking all on each other's parts. I'm like, Mama, that's the part that feel good. What are you talking about? We never agreed on that type of shit. It wasn't until she died and I was able to use my gifts to have those conversations with her, reach out to her, that I got a deeper understanding of why she was always that way in life. That's why I don't feel no way about my mom being gone or whatever. Like I said, when she was here, me and her had our conversation to make everything rectified. I'll never forget the last conversation. I'm about to cry. I will never forget the last conversation I had with my mama. We left on a good note. It was everybody else on some bullshit, but we left on a real good note. And our very last conversation, on top of all the other stuff we talked about, out of all the other amends that we was making, the very last subject we talked about was me being pregnant. That was the last subject. That was the very last thing we talked about before she hung up the phone that day, because she couldn't continue the conversation because she was tired. And I was born because she was pregnant with me and my grandfather died. My mother died 2 days after our conversation. She died 2 days after our conversation. That was the last thing we talked about while she was on this earth. And it took me till a month and a half after she died, a month and a half after the funeral, to get the official word of whether or not I was pregnant or not. Because that entire time, whatever God was doing in that space, God was doing in that space. To this day, I don't even have the answers. I had the weight gain. I had everything. I didn't have my cycle. I had everything going on. Everything going on. I lost my sight. My body was overproducing things. Real shit. My body was overproducing things. I was tired. I was sleepy. My dreams got real vivid. And then I saw everything in a dream. I saw it all in a dream. And I shared that fucking dream with my best friend. Conniving ass bitch. Should have never told her shit. Should have never told that bitch shit. That bitch was jealous of me for the longest time. And I didn't even want to admit it to myself. And I can tell that other people saw the change in me. And I can tell that other people noticed. But, because I wasn't saying anything, because I didn't tell them anything, because I never confirmed anything, all that they was left with was trying to figure out, was it true? Is it true? Damn, she do look different. I heard she was doing this. I heard she was doing that. I heard this. I heard that. We seen this. We seen that. She acting different. But I never confirmed a fucking thing. I never said shit to them. Because they wasn't they fucking business. I told my mother. I told my mother. That was the last thing we talked about 2 days before she died. That was our last phone conversation, our last topic, everything.